is just going to be a fun tutorial because I'm also very excited to teach you about the list comprehension. Okay, so list comprehension are very simple. They help us to create a new list, okay, using a single line of code. Okay, so now the list comprehension is an elegant way for us to define and create a list in Python. It is used to create a new list using a single line. Okay, let's consider like following example below. Now we have for the a for loop over here, all right, which um, demonstrates how we can convert this for loop using list comprehension. Okay, so we have for items in sequence, if the condition evaluates to true, we want to print this output expression. So we can rewrite this code, okay, using a list comprehension and simplifying it to just a single line. Okay, so now this is what we call the list comprehension. So what you can do is that the output that we want to achieve, right, is just going to start the 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 comprehension, okay, the list comprehension followed by the for loop. So this for loop is just going to be brought here, then followed by the condition. Okay, so what we have is that we have the expression, the for loop, and if any condition exists, it can follow. Okay, so the output expression, the for loop, and the condition that determines the output. Okay, so this is how, or this is the structure of the list comprehension. Now let's take a look at some of the example that we can see under the list comprehension. Okay, so now over here I'm creating a new empty list. Okay, and I'm calling it a cube list. Okay, that is an empty list, there is nothing inside. What I'm going to do is that I'm just going to loop through the values between um the value through I'm just going to loop through values between the range of 0 and 9. Okay, and what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to use the Python list method that is called append to append each item or each value inside this range. I'm just going to cube it by 3 and I'm appending it into this cube list. Okay, so that is what basically I'm doing, and I'm printing the list. So now over here, this for loop is going to loop through this range of numbers, and each value in the range represent this I. So now over here we take the I and square it, or raise it to the power of 3, and then add it into this new list by creating a new list. Okay, so now when I print this cube list over here and I run this code, I see that we have the the range of numbers that has been cubed, okay, and has been appended successfully into this new array. Okay, that is called a cube list. Now what we can do is that we can also do the similar way. Okay, we can also implement this code using a list comprehension, just a one line of code. So list comprehension helps us to create a new list, okay, without explicitly creating an empty list and then doing the computation and then appending the new result into that list. So what we can do is that this itself is a list. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that we're just going to perform all the operations inside the list, and that is going to return a new list, and it's just going to be stored inside this cube list one. Okay, so now this is the value, this is what we want to do. So here is the value, so we are just appending I raised to the power of 3. So that is the value that we want to achieve. Then we are looping through the range of 0 to 10. Okay, so this is the expression, the output expression, and this is our for loop. Okay, using the list comprehension. And now when this is being run, we will see that we will achieve the same output as writing 1, 2, 3, 4 lines of code. Now this has been reduced to just 2 lines of code. Okay, now that is how simple list comprehension can make you simplify your code by writing just one liners to solve the same problem. Okay, now let's take a critical look at another example that we have over here. So now let's use the same example above for the same case where we only append if the value is an even number. Okay, so here we are still repeating ourselves, so we call it cube even, and we are setting it to an empty list. Okay, here too we are looping through the range or the values through 0 and 20. Okay, and we are saying that if the value here, this variable I, divided by 2. Okay, so this is the modulus operator. So I modulus 2 equals 0. So if you divide I by 2, okay, and the remainder is 0, what we are doing is that we are calling the empty list, which is the cube even, and then we are appending the same thing, right, the cube of I, okay, into this new list. And now when we run this, we are going to see that we have the same result, but the ranges has been increased, okay, from 10 initially to now 20. So we have a new list or a new values appended into the list. Now similarly, we can also do the same thing over here using the list comprehension. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to um, reduce this code from here. Okay, this is just, now let me reduce this. Okay, I was just testing something. So now here what I'm going to do is that we just have, so that is the structure that I said. So the output expression followed by the for loop and the condition that follows. Okay, so here we are seeing the same thing. This is the output expression followed by the for loop, okay, and the condition that we want to test. Okay, so now when this code is being run, we see that we achieve the same output over here. So this and this. Now let's make this interesting by, because we know that 0 is not an even number. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to write another condition over here. So let me uncomment this and write another condition over here to say that if the I equals 0, we should continue. In that case, we are just going to skip the 0 in the list. Okay, so now when this code is being run, we see that the 0 has been eliminated and we have the even numbers over here. Now similarly, we can do the same thing over here, but there is a trick to it. Okay, now you might be thinking that um how is this going to be possible? Can we use the continuous statement inside the list comprehension? No, we cannot use the continuous statement in the list comprehension, but what we can do is that I can chain this condition over here by saying that and I, okay, and I um and I not equal 0. Okay, this is what I can do. So now if I specify this over here and I run this code, we will see that um the 02 has been eliminated. So this is how you can also chain the conditions together. So writing this if statement, this nested if statement, has been simplified to this. So I'm checking for this and I'm also checking for this. Okay, so I'm just going to skip the one that the I is not equal to 0. So do the computation, but for the one that I is not, so do the computation for the one that I is not equal to 0. Okay, so that is what is going to happen. Now this code here has just been simplified to a one liner over here. So this is it. Okay, so now let's take a critical look at another example. Okay, so um that is the same thing that I implemented over here. Okay, so there's the same code I implemented over here. Now also, let's use the list comprehension to also simplify or to calculate or to return top ns from a dictionary. Okay, so if you don't know what dictionary are, I have a video that talks about dictionary. Okay, so now what I'm doing is that I have a dictionary of employers over here. So I have the names over here as the keys and their salary as the value. Okay, so what I'm doing is that I'm just creating a variable called top ns. Okay, so because I want to get the top ns from this dictionary, so what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to write a for loop. Okay, and in the dictionary we learned about the items. Okay, so this item is going to break this dictionary and give us, okay, the ability to unpack this dictionary and give, and so that we can have access to the key and the value. Okay, so what I'm doing is that if this item method is being called on this dictionary and it gives us the key and the value, what I'm doing is that I'm putting this key and the value inside a tuple. Okay, this is what I'm returning, and I have a condition over here to check, because the values are the salaries over here. So I'm saying that it should check for the values which are greater than 100,000. Okay, and now when I print a formatted string to say that the top, because I'm just using the length function to actually see the length of the values or the number of the top ns that we had. Okay, so here I'm passing the top ns into this length function to check the length of it. So here I have the top, so it will be a value, so the top two ns, okay, are, then to give us a list of tuples containing the top ns. Okay, so when this is being run, we see that the top two ns, okay, are Alice with a salary of 100,000, and also Carol with a salary of, I think, 1 million. Okay, so we have, yeah, So we have 122,908. Okay, so that is what we have. Now, before I end this video, I have an exercise for you. Okay, and this exercise, I want you to pause this video quickly and try to write a short or a one-liner code that is going to convert, because here we see visitors, okay, and we see Firefox um corrupted, and we see Chrome corrupted, Safari corrupted, and we see Firefox again corrupted. Now I want you to write a one-liner code that is going to change every corrupted to the value of the previous um of the previous visitors. So if you have corrupted here, we're just going to replace the corrected by the previous value over here. So here becomes corrupt Firefox, and here the corrupted gets changed to Chrome, and here also the corrupted gets changed to Safari, and here also changed to Safari. Here also is being changed to Chrome, and here also is being changed to Safari. So pause this video quickly and try and do this exercise. All right, guys, come back and watch this solution. So now let's try to implement the solution over here. This is very simple. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to have the visitors. Okay, I'm just going to use slicing in Python. Okay, so I'm just going to call the visitors. Okay, I'm just going to call the visitors list. Okay, and I'm just going to grab um 1, okay, through 2, and I'm just going to replace it by the visitors. Okay, by the visitors, and I also start from the beginning. Okay, and now to the 2. So now what this is going to do is that this is going to change every corrupted to the value that comes before the corrupted. Now when I run this code, okay, and I print the visitors, okay, let me print the visitors to see what we actually have. So visitors, now we see that it has been successfully changed. So we have Firefox here. Initially it was Firefox corrupted, and now it is Firefox, Chrome, Safari, Chrome, and Firefox. Alright, guys, this is the end of this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, do what to subscribe, and also like, give this video a thumbs up. Catch you guys in the next tutorial. Bye.